So for those of you who don't know me on the coast, my name's Sven. You'll see me at the squash courts from time to time. What I'm offering is a service where I record your squash games or matches using some GoPros. It's 1080p, 120 frames per second. The purpose of this is to learn from our mistakes. So I've used this in my own game, and you can watch the playback and you can critique yourself. You can further analyze it using a remote coach, and I'll explain that as well. So I've standardized the process. There's 10 different angle options you can choose from, 5 in the racquetball court, 5 in the squash court. You can go single camera or double camera. If you do double camera, there's editing involved, so there's just an extra cost associated with that. As well, additional options include scoring. I'll do some subtitles on the bottom left. If I do the scoring, I'll also show strokes and lets. I can do a playback in slow motion. There's also highlights, and what that means is I'll edit it so at the end of a game, I'll just record the last couple hits of each rally. So all these additional options are not required, not necessary. You can just have a very, very straightforward recording. But here's how it works. So as far as the camera placement options, it is standardized, and this is based on trial and error. So at the courts, I just mounted the camera in a variety of places, and I just tried, the center, the left, the right, the front. But this is what I came up with. So, some options in the squash court, some in the racquetball court, and the ones I'm showing you are the ones that work fairly well, and they're fairly clear and visible. Ones that do not work, at the squash court, when it's at the front like this, there's too much glare, I find, from the skylights in the back. The racquetball court, this one from behind the glass I wanted to use, but there's that film at the top of the glass. So when you put these camera placement options together, I have 10 different options. Here's option 1, probably the most common one, the center. This is option number 2 in the squash court. This is, again, single camera, left back. This is on a tripod, just outside the glass. Option number 3, it's either the center or the left, depending on where the ball is. So again, there's editing involved to make this happen here. Option number 4, single camera, racquetball court. This is mounted on top of the glass. And then option number 5 is also the racquetball court, single camera mounted on the left side. Option number 6, from the front of the court, if you're working on your technique and you want to see yourself, how you're swinging, you can slow the video down and really see your technique. Option 7, double camera, either center back or right front, depending on where the ball is. Double camera, center back, or the left back. Again, depends on where the ball is. Option number 9, double camera, left back or the right front. And then last one is option 10, double camera, left back or right back. And this is good to, watch, the right side and left side. Additional options, again, definitely not required, but if you want to have the 2 cameras, there is the editing involved, and it just takes time to on the computer. So there's a bit of an additional cost with the 2 cameras here, but it's a bit of a nice. It's a nice to have, right? It kind of makes it feel more like a PSA game when you have 2 cameras. The scoring, again, standardized. I'll have it on the bottom left, showing the score. And if there is lets or strokes, then what I'll do is I'll write that down, and I'll also do an instant replay in slow motion, just so you can see if it is a let or a stroke. But I'll only do this if there's scoring as an option. And then it'll go back to, it'll continue in the game here. Okay, this one is highlights, and what this means is we have game point here, and after somebody wins the game. It'll cut straight into the last couple of hits of each rally, so you can see who's winning the points and who's losing the points. There's music in the background as well, which you can hear, and you know, I looked at some PSA games and they always have this music and it's always the exact same, so I'm just trying to kind of recreate that, and it's more or less just for fun. Again, definitely not required, but just a nice to have with the highlights here. So now you have an idea of how it all works. On the rest of this channel, I'll upload 10 videos of all the different angle options, so you can watch each game that I played and just see which angle option is best for you. I'll also upload a couple of videos with the remote coaching options, just a few to choose from. So other than that, I'll leave my contact information at the community center on the board just outside the squash court, just again explaining how it all works. So just remember, you know, the reason we're doing this is, you know, to increase the level of the quality of squash on the coast. You know, if we can bring each person's game up, then ultimately we have harder people to play, and I think that'll increase the level of everybody on the coast. So, and if you want to use your own cameras, you know, do your own recording, I think that's great. I'm not saying, you know, use my service. This is really about just getting better as a group. It's just one of the ways that we can increase the level, you know. So I'll leave you with that, and I'll say, you know, happy squash playing.